All right, recording in three, two, one. You already know it's your boy Cookie, and now this is episode 7 of A Life of a Bi podcast. And tonight we're here with Team Serbia, Marko and Vodin.
That was loud.
Yeah, that was loud. Do you guys watch football there in Serbia?
Like football with played with the foot or American.
American football. Actually, you might wanna,
Stand a bit close.
yeah,
All right.
stand a bit close like that so that the mic will pick
Let me
up your voice.
might I dabble a little bit into that what you just said. It's like in Europe when
Yeah.
you say football,
Uh-huh.
it's actually what the Americans call soccer, right? So you never actually talk about American football like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, I meant soccer. So yeah, because like I figured you guys are from Europe, so you don't watch American football like
No,
that.
not really. I mean, we have like two of us. I don't think we watch football at all, but we have like a big football culture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when young people from working families from the hood and stuff like that gather around, they need something. Like something common to gather around and s-
Yeah.
and socialize, right? So we have like a big culture of football fans and going to matches and cheering for your team, and after that, like crime and violence also connected to that
Crime and
a lot.
violence.
Yeah, because the football fans, hooligans, the groups who kind of
Yeah, you might wanna.
organized
Yeah,
supporters,
like
right?
that. Yeah, perfect.
They are also crime groups as well, and they work for the government.
Yeah, I heard there's this crazy crime group, football, what do you call it, fan base ish, where they chop people's bodies and shit. It's like a
Oh, yeah,
mafia
yeah,
type.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so basically that's there is like only one mafia, and these are like branches. So these guys were specialized in disposing, victims.
Oh yeah, because
That was
like
their thing, right?
they dissolve the bodies
Yeah,
and
yeah,
whatnot. They
in
got,
acid and
yeah,
stuff like
what
that.
the.
They chop them up and stuff like that. But that's just like one of the branches. Like there is no gangs and stuff like that and gang wars. In
Yeah.
Serbia, it's all organized under one roof called the government, right?
Oh.
So it's quite organized and whatnot. And football and football hooligans and stuff like that is one of those places where those people started congregating and like you know aligning themselves with you
What
know
groups?
well they're not in it for their love of football. They're like well, it's how to profile these people. They're
I
kind of
could maybe describe them
yeah.
as
I
like,
mean, we grew up among them, and they're like, how would you say?
but it's more a bit like it was in England back in the day, right? It's
Yeah,
like
back in the day.
back in the day. I guess it was just like a bit late
Yeah.
to show up in Serbia or whatever.
Mm.
But maybe it's like fairly similar to what was happening.
Yeah,
Right.
so I remember like in our neighborhood, basically there were these. You had their two biggest teams, Serbia Partizan and Red Star, right?
Mm.
And their fans, basically, they're like organized fans who always had the biggest presence in all the matches and sang all the anthems and stuff like that. They were organized and they would all work out basically in the same area, and they all had the same build. So no forehead, huge neck,
Hmm.
relatively thin legs, but a big chest, shoulders, and back. And I remember one good
Like Popeye or something.
yeah, remember
Yeah.
a story like from the hood.
Like a reverse triangle, basically.
Yeah, total reverse triangle. And I remember one story. One guy asks another, like, "Yo, dude, like they're working out," and he says, "Like, yo, dude, what do you do for your stomach, like your abdomen?" Bro, I just do chest because if you get your chest big enough, bigger than your belly, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
that's the mentality, kind of all
yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
Let me let me get back to you on that. Let me just pause for a second because, like, I think we have some technical difficulties with the mic. So, I'm just gonna pause this for a sec, and I'll be back in like a few seconds. All right, now we're back. So we're trying to figure out. We were trying to figure out why when when we talk maybe 5 inches away from the mic, it starts to cut off. So like
Yeah,
we
at some point the mic doesn't pick up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically now.
Yeah, so
Where
now
basically
we're-
go away.
So now
We have to be like this. We have to be like we're talking about something really important.
yeah,
like,
really
you know.
important. Yeah, everything's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, we have to approach the podcast with that level of seriousness and whatever.
After all, we're in a conference room.
We're in a conference
We're
room.
in a conference there.
that
Shout out
yours-
to Diane building here in Kasambagan for letting us use your space. Well, we just barged into your workspace.
Yeah, we're supposed to pay, but if no one
Uh,
finds out, then you know.
Well,
if,
are we supposed to pay for this?
Well, I'm supposed to pay.
You're
for
supposed
it,
to pay for it.
but if like
It's not part of the amenities?
If a tree falls in the forest and no one sees it, did the tree fall in the forest? You know.
Wise man. Wise man.
Okay. Whatever happens. It's all good.
Yeah,
Thanks, Diane, and your Chinese investors.
Yeah, it's all about 8. They have they love 8s. The number 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you notice the Chinese culture, especially in business, they love 8s.
Yeah,
Do
that's
you know why? What was the case with number
For them, it signifies fortune, abundance, prosperity.
money number.
The money number 8.
Money number.
8? Okay.
Yeah,
And 4 is death.
it
Oh,
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 is death. So
So 2 times death equals money.
So you need to die 2 times before you actually get rich.
So I guess so. Like third incarnation is the best incarnation, right? Cool.
Alright. That's pretty cool.
yeah, but what about Serbia? Let's talk more about Serbia. Me and Marco was talking, and trying. We were describing Philippines and Europe, and Marco said that I described it really good. Where Europe is gray and cold,
Yes.
but Philippines is very vibrant.
Yes.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Like,
This is-
I mean, different parts of Europe, of course. The more south you go in Europe, like Greece and Italy aren't gray and cold, but like Germany and Sweden, where Marco lives, get really gray and really cold, and you can see it in people's faces what that kind of climate does to you over like 1,000 generations. You know, it changes the way people behave, the mentality, the culture, everything. Like climate impacts everything.
Yeah, I would, if I just might, I would agree with what Vodin is saying right here, because like, yeah, so basically us talking about Europe as a whole would maybe not be completely correct, right? Because there's a rather large difference between the different parts of Europe, right? So north and south do differ quite a lot. And me living in the north for the last, I don't know, 13 years or
wait,
whatever.
in Sweden.
Yeah.
Sweden. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, so Serbia would be more on the warmer side of things, at
Yeah.
least during the like majority of the year.
Yeah, our
right?
winters are like -5, -10.
Minus
and-
that. Or like in the mountains, it can get even
Yeah,
like
yeah.
rather heavy.
But in
cold.
Sweden, like, what's the winter like?
I mean, it's not. Well, okay, so my city where I live at, shout out Gothenburg. and also-
Gothenburg.
yeah, that's what's up. Also shout out Belgrade.
Belgrade.
Where
Where's
me
Belgrade?
and
in?
Vodin,
Live.
Serbia.
Oh, in Serbia.
Grew up and got away from as soon as we could. Yeah.
Okay, you're just
Yeah.
painting it kind of gray now. It's not that
No,
bad actually,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. So like, shout out Belgrade, Zvezdara, where we grew up. So what I meant to say is that like for the majority of the year, let's say in Sweden, it would be a bit more grayish and like cold and depressing and a bit raining and whatever. And yeah, that kind of does. Yeah, you can probably see that on the mood of the people as well, because like as soon as you see a bit of sunlight, you just see everybody being more happy and just like sitting on the grass and
Yeah.
like just enjoying the sun rays, right?
yeah.
Even though if it's like 5 degrees outside, it's like freezing as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are just like, oh shit, I gotta get that sun. I
Yeah,
gotta
because
get that
like
vitamin
Yeah,
you
D.
can only
vitamin
get
D,
you can only get it for like what 16 hours for the year.
Correct, my man. That's
Yeah.
actually the time you can get it for. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get here, we like overdose in vitamin D, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, I have so much energy. What's going on? Yeah.
It's fairly good here. That's why I was just saying, like, me and you were having that conversation of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
being blind for the things that you actually have like next to you or in front of you.
Yeah.
And since mostly me, because he still gets like fair amount of vitamin D back in Serbia, right?
Yeah.
But I really don't in the
In Sweden,
in Northern Europe. Yeah.
Northern Europe.
So what happens is that like
Is it really that cold?
I mean, like where I'm at, I wouldn't say it's like that mega cold, but it's like consistently cold, right?
Uh-huh.
If you go like really up
It's like
north,
a sweater weather or
definitely sweater, jacket, like
Yeah.
everything. And it also changes. It like changes quite a lot. It's like, oh, it's raining right now. Okay, in half an hour you're gonna have the sun outside, right? But
Yeah.
it's gonna be cold, really cold.
Yeah.
So like let's say in the morning I'm just like waking up, I'm seeing the sun outside and I'm like, oh my god, I might not need a jacket, right?
Yeah.
But then I open the window and just like my hand freezes. I'm like, okay, I will need a jacket.
Yeah.
So, but like, yeah. Besides that, it's like it's okay.
Mm. But how many days are you here now in
So in the Philippines,
Philippines.
I will be at the time of departure. I would have been here for 31 days.
31 days, a
31.
month? Okay, so are you not gonna leave Cebu because you've been to Siquijor and Bohol? So
Correct. I've been Bohol, Siquijor. I've been Olongapo, Subic Bay, and now I'm at Cebu. And basically, I'll try to explore a bit of Cebu, the city, because I've been hearing stories. It's like the first old capital of the Philippines.
Yeah.
Like the Spanish launched their invasion or whatever here and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I would like to see maybe some of the historical places here. So I guess I'll be keeping myself here for the next 10 days that I'm staying here.
What if I shark out? You're missing out, bro. If
I know
you're-
some people say that, but like then on the other hand, shout out our buddy that left yesterday, Richard.
Richard, the Swiss,
half Swedish, half
half
Filipino
Filipino.
guy.
Oh, half Swedish. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me he was like, yeah, there is enough things to see, like maybe Moalboal or maybe like.
Oh, you never been to Malboa?
No.
Or also, you ever been swimming with sharks?
No, unfortunately.
Or whale
no.
sharks.
Whale sharks, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are a bit better than normal sharks, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
I would like to
You ever
try
thought
that.
about? Yeah, you want to try that?
Yeah, that sounds actually like a really nice idea, actually.
Yeah, because next week it's gonna be Holy Week.
Oh yeah.
So that means if you were to go to those places, it's gonna be packed.
Oh, it's gonna be okay. So
Yeah,
people
'cause-
usually go on the holidays over there, right?
Yeah, because it's considered like a long weekend, starting from Thursday until Sunday. So,
Okay.
there's no, it's like vacation time. So
Oh, then maybe I'll try to think about that before that happens.
yeah, and then in the city, like if you're gonna be here during the Holy Week until the 20th, you know what? I kind of like it too because it's kind of
Everyone goes home, huh?
Yeah, everyone goes home, so the city's like chill.
Oh, it's empty like that, yeah.
Not completely empty, but it's like everyone.
Better.
Yeah, it's I like it. Like it's I used to ride around the city, riding the bicycle. Yeah, and I like it when there's not a lot of cars be zooming past me and
That's
But-
something I'm looking forward to in that case because it's been a bit packed
yeah.
until now, I would say.
So in Cebu, you ever been to clubs? Like, do you like clubbing?
I mean, I'm okay with clubbing. I guess I do it from time to time. I'm
Yeah.
not like the biggest party person ever, but sometimes if the vibe is good, if the crew is nice, like if I'm there with like a few cool people and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I can do that endeavor. I would say, yeah.
Yeah, cause the nightlife here in Cebu is
It is.
how would you
It
describe
is.
that?
It
Vodin?
is. What?
How would you describe that?
Well, you see,
nightlife in
like
Cebu.
a contrast between Cebu and most of Europe is the average age of the average person, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are more young people here, so there's more fun to be had. There are more parties, and like they are taken more single seriously. People are more devoted to making something happen, I think. Whereas, like, there are, I think, fewer options, and for example, in Serbia, but also other places in Europe, because our population is pretty old,
Mm.
and no one in Europe has like a positive birth rate, like no country. The
Mm.
Philippines does, so that's very different. So, and other than that, I mean, the only clubs I've been to are like, no, I've only been to one club, and that's Trademark actually for your when you had a
Yeah, when I had a
performance there
performance there.
last year, yeah.
That's it. So you're not a club type of guy.
Well, I
Then
mean, and the place, the other place, the
oh,
place
Central.
where when we met, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
Central.
the
Yeah,
name,
yeah,
Central.
yeah.
Huh? Yeah. So basically, the clubs. I mean, the music is loud and shitty most of the time,
Hey,
and
yo,
like
they be playing my music there though. Like yo,
most of the time.
yo. So I
So
confirm my music is shitty.
well, it depends, right?
He said most of
But
the time. Good save, Vodin.
yeah, yeah, but kind of, you
No,
know,
because you're my friend, maybe that's why.
yeah, it's kind of when you own your own club, you want music that's like pleasing to everyone,
Yeah, true,
and
true.
there is no music that's pleasing to everyone. So you're
Yeah.
trying to find that middle ground, which is okay for everyone,
Yeah.
and you're going into something which you find okay, but you're not looking for okay. You're looking for an exhilarating experience and whatnot. So, but there's always beer and alcohol to, make every experience more exhilarating and stuff like that. And then there's also grills and this and that. But, it's once you've seen like one side of clubbing, you've seen it all basically. There is one thing to do. So, um, loud music, alcohol, and grills.
Yeah,
And
so
if you
much.
like to repeat that loop, that's
Yeah.
great. But kind of also it
Yeah.
can lose its charm because essentially it has no point.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
what are you going to accomplish by
yeah, it's a deteriorating type
well,
of like it'll deteriorate your well-being if you do it all the time. Just
yeah,
like
I mean,
everyone, just like everything else.
I like to try new things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like one aspect of it, but like going clubbing all the time, no, that's
Yeah.
not that kind of interested in that. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
one thing we do have in common though is like we're working on something, and then
Yeah.
I don't I've been hanging out with you for the past month ever since you
Yeah.
got here, and you've been talking about what you got working on,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is
The
like
day trading,
yeah.
I'm learning like to like do stock investing and all that stuff, right? But
Yeah.
I'm like now I'm learning the most pristine kind of skill in that whole area of finance, which is day trading, like totally speculative, betting on price movements on a daily level.
Mm.
I think basically it doesn't have any specific purpose other is that you can make more money than by investing regularly.
Yeah.
But the caveat, the catch is that a very small percentage of people actually make money, and 99 or whatever percent of people lose money. And the whole point is to get to become like in the top 1% of people.
Mm.
If you're not in the top 1% of all traders, you're basically there is no point to trading. There is no reward for it.
And
And
how would you how would you how would you how would you maneuver or learn day trading with the thought that your competition is already using AI, like especially those hedge fund companies.
They're
and
not using the machine learning AI. They're using algorithms. That's different. So algorithms are kind of, programs that work on a basically people notice certain patterns and then they program the computer to recognize those patterns. So computer isn't figuring out the market on its own. It's just, following orders basically. And that's a good thing actually that the big hedge funds are using algorithms, because then all we have to do as the, retail traders with little money is kind of just latch onto them. Like they're the boats that move the market and we're like, they're ships that move the market and we're little boats and we try
Just
to
following,
attach
yeah.
ourselves to those
Yeah,
ships. So
yeah.
when the market moves, like when someone who has, I don't know, $100 billion sells $100 billion worth of something, the price will fall, right?
Yeah.
So if they're selling, you have to be selling too. Otherwise, if you're like not aligned with them, you lose money.
Yeah.
That's it. Basically, the whole point is aligning yourself with those people and companies that move the price up
But
and down.
you're day trading currencies, right?
Yeah.
So you always look at the news.
No, the news doesn't fundamentally change anything. I think it just changes the speed at which things are happening. So when news comes out, I cannot react to those news because the rest of the market reacts to the news almost immediately. And also my broker actually forbids me to act on the news within 2 minutes of a news release. So I literally can't do it. But sometimes when there is like a sharp move in the market, you see that there was a news release a bit before that, and you can, connect the dots. But essentially, news doesn't really change anything because you cannot predict the market. You're just trying to figure out a system which gives you more than like 50% chance to win overall over the long term. And no trade you make, no bet you make can be, right or wrong. It just has a chance of winning. All you're looking to do is make that chance as great as possible and that victory as big as possible, and that's it. You have to think in probabilities. So if I make a bad call, turns out to be a loss, that's not actually a bad call. That's just how it is. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's that psychological thing because you're supposed to be totally indifferent to your losses, but also to your wins. Because if you're emotionally reacting to random outcomes, basically, you're just like I don't know. That's not a good thing. You're just being led by some emotional impulses, by something that's completely random. Like
So you gotta be.
it has no purpose, and it can only drive you to make bad decisions. That's it.
So you gotta be stoic.
Stoic, indifferent, like nothing. It's like basically if you have a die and I say roll this die and roll a 6. Can you roll a 6 if I tell you to roll a 6? No, you can't. You can roll the die until you get a 6, basically. So if you roll a 3, you shouldn't feel bad about it because it's not in your control whether the die is gonna fall on a 6 or a 3, right? So all that day traders do is basically figure out how to make sure that when they roll a die, they win most of the time. And when you win most of the time, that means you'll end up in profit over a long enough period. And when you end up in a profit over a long enough period, like all returns are percentage based. So if I make 10% a month, if I only have $1,000, then it's not that much money. That's $100. But if you have $100,000, that's suddenly a ton of money. And if you can get that kind of results, there are companies that you can join online that give you their money to trade with, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you have to prove that you're good beforehand. And after that, you're just kind of in this area where you can acquire money to trade with. And as long as you're consistently profitable, you can just print money. But only is it like 0.5% of people who try that actually succeed. And that's the whole catch. And that's, I think, mostly due to psychology. because how can you not get like pissed off if you lose like $2,000 in a
Mm.
day
Mm.
while you were in the bathroom or something like that, and the chart went bloop,
Yeah.
and how can you not get excited after you like win $5,000 because the chart did this?
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
very volatile.
Because we're used to working our asses off for that $5,000 and those $2,000, right?
Yeah.
And this comes without work, without effort, but it can go just as easily.
Just like that.
Yeah, so basically I'm not like a totally full-fledged day trader yet. I'm kind of turning my brain into that day trading machine right now. Philippines are a good place for that because there's no like there is kind of a political turmoil here too, but I don't care because it's not. I do care, about not really, because in Serbia there's like
It affects the market. Yeah.
yeah, that's. When you're in a foreign country, you're not involved emotionally with what's going on
Mhm.
in the country
Yeah,
as
yeah.
much as when you're in your own
True.
country. And now in our country, there's like a whole revolution thing going on.
Mhm.
And when I'm there, I'm just kind of, I want to get
Yeah,
involved.
you want to get
I
involved.
want to, throw like eggs at the police and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
What about you, Marco? What
So I'm not as refined in my philosophy or anything like Vodin is. Just
Philosophy.
yeah, I'm just minored in like mechanical engineering.
minor? So what major you in?
So or minor is maybe a bad term. I mean, like my bachelor's is in
Yeah.
mechanical,
Yeah.
and my master's is within physics. So and I'm still actually not even done with my degree. So kind of just worked within like the car manufacturing industry. Then now just wanted to have a bit of a break.
Yeah.
And
It's a long break.
it's a
Like
long
what?
break.
It's like a
man.
2 month, 3 month break.
No, it's actually like I went. So my first stop was in Serbia mid-January,
Yeah.
and since then I've been on a vacation, so to
Wait,
say. So
So your company let you do that, or
no,
you
I
left?
quit.
Oh,
I
you
quit
quit. Okay, so you're like,
completely.
fuck this shit. Let me just explore the world, man.
A bit,
Yeah.
that's how I felt. And so basically, a perfect place to do that, like world exploring, in my opinion, and at least it was going to Asia because it has such a rich cultural history.
Yeah.
So I've been the beginning of my trip. I went to China. I was in like Hong Kong, Macau, Japan, Taiwan. I'm here now, and it doesn't stop here. Vodin and myself are going to be continuing to Singapore, Vietnam, Laos, Thailand.
Gradually going west.
Gradually going west, and then
Gradually going west.
Yes.
Okay, so
Correct.
you're going to India, Middle East.
well, those
So
are
we'll fly over the Middle East.
yeah. So at this point of time, I think we might just need to skip it, but in the future, those places are probably going to get visited. I would guess.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So which country are you looking forward to next?
So I will be going to Singapore next for a bit, and then
For
we
like how
are.
many days each?
Singapore is just going to be a short stop, like a day, 24 hours,
Oh,
basically.
okay. And then you go to Vietnam with
Vietnam, and then we're
Vodin.
there for a month.
for a month.
Yeah.
Okay. You never been to Vietnam, y'all?
Nah,
Nah.
Nope.
nah.
Have you been to Vietnam?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
We will send you postcards by mail. Yeah, and write you handwritten
Yeah.
letters about how much we miss you, and how.
You been to Thailand?
Nah.
Nah.
Oh, me neither. Actually, I had quite a few friends from there. Really nice people. Looking forward to meeting them again. Shout out Thailand, all the great people over there. So yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
So during this trip, you ever had that aha moment already, or like, yo, I want to do this for the rest of my life, or like you ever had some type of wisp of idea that popped up, like, yo,
So I would say I definitely like had quite a lot of so I like the whole Buddhist uh, type of philosophy or whatever you want to call it, like the whole religion of Buddhism as well. And that's a lot about like Zen and like being more not so much affected by the chaos happening around you, I guess,
Mhm.
which was maybe not my primary philosophy like while in Europe. So I did enjoy quite a lot like the whole society here, like in Asia. Of course, Philippines are not Buddhist like that, but it's still
Mhm.
quite a cool place to be at.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely had a feeling that I will be doing more of this, and by this I mean traveling. So this is what I'm
Mm.
looking forward to very much in the near and far future as well.
You ever had any plans after your travel? Like, yo, okay, bet, let me do this, or not
So,
yet?
so I gotta be a bit serious once I'm done with these travels because I'm gonna be having like half a year of vacation.
Yeah,
So
which
just like a
you're gonna
6 month
need money
vacation.
and things, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna be going on like spare fuel basically. So I gotta go back to
Sweden.
Sweden and
Okay.
maybe work a bit, earn some money, and
Yeah.
yeah, finish up some things, and that's gonna be the primary deal in the near future, I guess, and up until I don't know some point in the future when I will be able to do a bit of a longer trip like this again.
Yeah. You gonna finish your physics masters?
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
get that done. I gotta finally go back and just like get that goddamn diploma paper, man. Like I gotta
Like
get it done.
how many years do you have? Like how many credits? Like I don't know.
It's not even years. It's like just I got like basically 4 exams to get like to be done with, and then got my degree.
And then
That's
you
it.
become a physicist.
Well, yeah, I got a master's in physics.
Yeah.
That's if you want to call it.
Like,
So.
well, what types of jobs you get when you become when you have masters in physics?
You can do a bit of everything, I would say. Like we've had like people that have gotten the degree that I hope to get soon, and they have been working in a bit of everything. I would say it's been like financial markets, like something like
Yeah.
Vodin is doing, but more in like the algorithm and programming side of
Yeah,
things.
physicists and mathematicians are, I think, the most employed groups in
Really,
finance,
the
stuff like
logic
that.
logic dudes.
Yeah, logic dudes.
Yeah.
No emotion, just logic.
No emotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that goes hand to hand with what we were talking
Yeah.
before, like just don't be affected by any type of emotion. That's I guess maybe a
Yeah, just probabilities. Probabilities are no reason to get upset about anything.
Mm.
no, it just calculations. That's it. So yeah, no, yeah, the people that we have encountered that have been talking like what they work in today, it's been everything. I guess like I think I remember one dude was like coming there from like NASA, and like there was another dude working in a really big company in like finance, and a bit of everything. Actually, it's really nice. I recommend physics.
Like, but
to do.
ideally, like, I'm sure you agree. Like, I don't want to work for another person.
Who
You know,
you?
that's yeah. I don't want to have a boss ever. You know,
That is fair.
that's
Yeah.
like that's always the end goal. Like,
That is definitely something I would call optimal, like being your own, like owning your own company or a business or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
and then just like kind of expand on that. That does feel
Then your
like a good choice of work.
yeah,
then your
because
customers become your boss.
yeah, but you see, there's like when you have one boss, you will inevitably want to kick his ass eventually or something. I mean, I guess it depends, but in my experience, it was always like that almost. And yeah, when you're directly working with customers, you're actually serving them your own terms, right? You're not being told what to do. You're just authentically serving them,
Yeah.
and not as someone else's tool. You know, so there's a lot of more. You have a lot more chances to make that business, suit your individuality and stuff like that. So it's something you really want to do instead of something someone else is making you do. Otherwise, they'll fire you
Mm.
or cut your paycheck.
Mm.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. You like to be independent.
Yeah, and also authentic, right? Like, for example, like the way I got into finance was I wrote a bunch of these articles on the internet about how to invest, right?
Mm.
And I was just this like kid in college that they hired to do that. I have never heard of the word investing before in my life, basically. And I turned into a guy that's giving investing advice, because that's how content writing works. Like, people who are giving you advice online on how to do this, how to do that, they have no idea what they're doing or what they were writing. And the people who are like signed as the authors of these articles aren't really the authors of these articles. That they're the people who are, present in the company, but the actual writers are like relatively low paid, you know, foreigners, who are cheaper than you. For example, all my articles were officially written by this guy who is a very, successful finance expert and stuff like that. And I was some college kid from Serbia who, heard the word investing 2 days ago for the first time. And it was his name on that article. And that's how, these websites project, a sense of authority, right? So you should listen to us because this was written by a financial expert. No, it's all a lie. It's all a total lie, but that's how everything works. And because that's how everyone does it, it's not like, it's not surprising for new companies. It doesn't seem immoral if you're just doing what everyone else is doing, right? That's the trick of conformity. Like, well, if everyone else is like, doing, lying, basically, it's okay if I lie too. That's how the industry is organized, right? You're not the bad guy. You're just a normal guy, and that's the kind of thing. I mean, in my professional career, that's all I've been doing. I've been lying for someone else's marketing money, basically. And that's kind of after that you really don't want to do that again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like your conscience got depleted. It's like, fuck this shit. Like,
For
I'm
example,
a good dude.
Like, I've
I don't wanna lie.
been writing articles on how to day trade since 2020, and I had zero idea what it is. So, and my advice, I looked at my old articles, that it's like complete nonsense. So, and maybe someone saw that and thought that was a legit thing to do.
What if it worked? But what if someone read your article and then made a lot of money?
Well, yeah, great,
right?
for them,
And then like, man, like I wrote this article, and then
well, that's good for them.
You ever
I'd be
thought
very
about
happy
that?
if that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that feedback based? Can I just ask you, have you ever gotten any like do they write back and they're like, oh, thank you so much?
Oh, no, the website doesn't allow that. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
Okay.
And no comments, no nothing. It's just an article, an educational article, and a bunch of affiliate links, right? But everything done in a proper SEO, friendly manner and stuff like that. But the actual content of the article that you're reading is a lie or something made up, or something written by an amateur who really doesn't, but is pretending to be an expert, because you can't get attention if you're not pretending to be an expert.
Which is you? No.
Yeah, I was pretending to be an expert. Yes,
because you're the one who wrote that article.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good one. Fake it till you make it. Actually,
and now you're like,
that's how I learned some of these things. Basically, when you pretend hard enough, you start picking up certain skills and
actual proper
concepts.
It just attracts. Yeah. So
I guess there's like at least one good thing coming out of that, right?
Yeah. It's I'm happy I did it. Yeah. But it's not something that I would stay on for the rest of my life.
So the first time you were here, you were writing articles. No.
Yeah. And the first time I was here that year, I actually quit for good. Like in January. No, this is December 2024, I think, or January.
Yeah, you were like, nah, I'm gonna quit this.
Yeah.
Go to the Philippines. Like, out of all the countries, why the Philippines?
Well, I called Kyle, Kyle, and I was like, yo, man, where are you? You still in Bali? And he was like, nah, man, I'm in the Philippines. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the Philippines. Because I met him in Bali, like in 2021 or something like that. So I thought, like, how the hell do I know? I don't know any of these countries. So wherever I go, it's kind of the same if I don't know where I'm going, right? So I got a friend in the Philippines. Okay, I'll go there, and I and then I just extended my trip for what, like 3-4 months or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was here for 3 months, maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Well,
that's about it.
and now you're here.
I'm
Now you're
here,
here in
bro.
Cebu. Yeah.
Here in Cebu, yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is some good places, any, I guess. Honestly, like if like my mentality is such that I like to do things kind of spontaneously. Let's say tomorrow we get an idea to do a thing, and we go and do the thing tomorrow, right?
Yeah. One thing about Cebu or in the Philippines is when you want to do something, you can do it right away because
Yeah.
it's just so like effortless when you go out. Like you can, it's not like in Serbia. Like you gotta have a car. You're gonna drive 30 minutes just to meet one dude.
That's Europe as a whole. I would
Europe
say.
as a
That's
whole,
why
right?
that's why
Yeah.
Philippines are amazing.
Serbia is a bit more spontaneous. That's what I like the Filipino, the way the culture here as far as social interactions and stuff like that and making friends. It's more similar to Serbia than Serbia is to, say, Germany, right?
Uh,
Like a lot more. You can just approach people here and say, "Hey, what's up?" And
Yeah.
maybe something will start happening, right? That's how we met, I guess.
yeah.
So, and that's harder to do in some other places, but that's why I like it here. I don't want to plan like a month in ahead if I want to have a cup of coffee with someone or like pretend to be some nice person that I'm not, because that's the proper way to behave and stuff like that. Just kind of people seem a bit more, at ease with expressing themselves authentically here.
More genuine, maybe that was the word.
Yeah, compared to some other places, which
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we wear our heart in our sleeves most.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes things
Yeah.
easier because, dude, like I've been to the Netherlands and I met a bunch of people there. When you try, when you're talking and you bring the topic to something, remotely personal,
like what? Like
like
give me an
sex, for example,
Yeah.
they just kind of, oh, what the what the hell is going
Yeah,
on? No,
yeah.
no, let's not talk about it. No, I'm going away. I'm running
Yeah.
away. Like not girls. I'm just talking guys. Like guys are talking shit about this and that.
Yeah.
And when you get personal, about your emotions, how you're really feeling, what you really want in life,
Yeah.
sex is like an extreme, like a very very personal thing, right? So
Yeah.
that's the most extreme example, I guess. But that's what I go for straight when I see someone is really close. I go straight for the jugular to open them up a little bit to see if their authenticity is still working, right? And more often than not, you just see people distancing themselves from you, blocking that stuff out. And how can you make friends with someone if you cannot even you're afraid to express like the tiniest bit of your dark side? Like that's the whole point. A friend isn't someone whose dark side when you accept, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like, and everyone has their bright side, but that's only half of the person,
Yeah.
right? So here that's easier because people aren't so like obsessed with saying the wrong thing or something like that. Kind of, I think that's normal, right?
Kinda. Yeah.
Normal to me.
Yeah. Well, what
Yeah.
about you, Marco? Well,
Oh no, I definitely do agree with what he is saying because it definitely like the culture here. I would say is a bit more closer to the Southern European sentiment or whatever we want to call it. Like, and in that regard, Serbia as well.
mhm. Are they
Yeah,
more liberal?
depends in like what regards, but I would say they're fairly liberal. Like in, let's say, you could probably make friends fairly spontaneous, and you could probably get together like number of people and just like go out and have fun or whatever, just hang out like we do here in the Philippines, right? Like with you guys and stuff like that. They're just like rather easier to get by with people, I would say.
I mean, I also met a bunch of foreigners in Serbia. When foreigners comes there, like he asks someone for help, people just are naturally inclined to help a foreigner because he doesn't know how things work, right? That's considered normal. Same here, I think. Okay, some people try to rip you off, but it's an economic thing. It's not that much of a cultural characteristic, stuff like that that's present everywhere. So that kind of, we're both human beings. We can help each other. It's not wrong to, be open to someone who you barely know, because tomorrow you might know them very well, right?
No, that's a fair point. Like, it's not wrong to help somebody out if they're in a need of help, which might not be the case. The further north in Europe you go, it's like a bit more colder in that regard.
Yeah, a bit more colder and like like the environment and the personality.
Yeah, they go together. Like climate impacts everything. Yeah,
seems so. So yeah, but I don't know. Like at the same time, I would say I've heard, like, for example, in China, I have like a few friends and stuff like that. They did mention over there, like, people in the south are a bit more warm, and like people in the north are a bit more reserved and stuff like that. So that kind of goes hand in hand with like our theory here as well, right? So like, yeah, I guess it's just like climate based somewhat. There are different theories of why it is like that, but like, yeah, that's just one of them. But all in all, still, I would say Philippines pretty amazing. And like, if you do visit us ever in back in Europe, in Serbia, that would I think you would like the place.
We will get you fat as hell. Yeah.
What, here?
No. If you visit
In
us in
Serbia.
Serbia, we will get you really, really fat and
Is,
strong.
A lot of bread, fat and
bread,
strong.
meat, and potatoes every day, all day, and you.
Yeah. You're gonna be like, it's like two things that are gonna happen. You're gonna get huge, and if you do train, probably muscly as well, and also a potential heart attack would be somewhere in there along the lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
The food is it's amazing.
Yeah. That's true. That's one thing I can like vouch for. Like, if you come to Serbia, you will have good food. That's true.
Yeah, it's just like amazing. I was discussing this with Vodin. The amounts of meat are just like probably insane by the standards of Philippines.
Yeah, so like the average portion size wherever you go is between 300 and 400 grams of meat. That's usually kind of like if you go to a restaurant or something.
Correct.
Yeah, it's usually 300 to 400 grams of meat. Here it's like 200 tops.
Yeah, that's like if you choose like a big portion or whatever. Something like that.
Yeah. So whenever I get like some food, say in a restaurant here, I'm say like,
where's the meat at?
Where's the other plate?
Correct. But it's still okay. You can understand it.
Yeah,
it's a bit different, and that goes hand to hand also, like in regards to like let's say the general height and whatever. Like Serbia is amongst the tallest nations in the world as well. So you kind of understand what that food gives.
Yeah, why it's necessary.
Oh yeah.
You still eating steak?
I am, yes. That's all I'm eating basically. Well, with a bit of fun treat meals here and there, but basically just eating steak and eggs, which is kind of what I've been doing now. Dude, makes your brain work so much quicker. When you're a little bit hungry, like your stomach is a bit empty, your mind just can focus. It's just it boosts you cognitively. Like, I'm not over exaggerating. It's really like noticeable, right? And if you're working on something that requires you to be on point and everything, bro, why not do it? I did get a bit skinnier, but what the hell? It's for a purpose.
But that's pretty crazy, right? Because I've been hearing about this concept from like Jordan Peterson, basically online, and I really didn't know what to think about it, right? But when I heard you were trying it and stuff like that, and the results were kind of exactly what he was describing, right?
Yeah.
You're like mentally clear, you're properly fed. I mean, at least
Yeah,
that's
you're not hungry, but your stomach feels emptier. So there's difference between hungry and your stomach being not full, basically. So if you eat a ton of bread, your stomach will be full, but all the nutrients that exist in bread are basically glucose and nothing else, right? And so sugar. So that's the whole idea. Your teeth are whiter because there's no sugar to make your teeth yellow. I don't know. Generally, there is no when you have lunch and then you want to take a nap afterwards. There is no that's
not a thing at all with
not the
this.
thing at all, right? And few things like that. I mean, I've heard people curing all hosts of diseases, autoimmune diseases, this and that,
So what?
with just eating
Just eating steak.
well, basically meat, eggs, animal products, proteins, fats, without plants at all. Maybe a bit of fruit. I like fruit. I like to have a mango.
Mm.
Like just falling to that you're mentioning about autoimmune diseases. I've been so again falling back to Jordan Peterson, like his daughter was talking about that she has been having some autoimmune disease or whatever, and she's been going like on the same type of thing that Vodin is doing now, and apparently like that thing just went away, like it was nothing.
Yeah, and the catch is it's more expensive, obviously, because instead of eating like 200 grams of steak and 200 grams of rice, you're eating 400 grams of steak. One is relatively expensive and one is relatively cheap, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, if you want to spend more of your money on food, or if you live somewhere in the countryside where you can, slaughter your own pig or something like that, which is also totally legit.
By the
That's
way, lechon is amazing. I love that.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I tried that finally. It was freaking amazing. We do have like similar like barbecued. What do you want to call it? Like
Whole
barbecued
pig.
whole pig barbecued.
Barbecued.
Correct. We
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
that stuff in Serbia as well, and like damn lechon. It's
Yeah.
on the same level like that. That's
Mhm.
pretty good stuff.
What do you call that in Serbia?
Ražanj.
Huh?
Ražanj.
A rajan?
Yeah,
Oh.
rajan would just mean a steak. Basically, we mean like a pig on the steak. But the word rajan it just means the steak, right?
Well, what steak? Like
So
the,
so they put like a wooden stake through the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
pig, right? And then they just kind of rotate it.
Yeah.
same.
Actually,
It's like lechon.
it's pečenje.
Well, yeah,
Pečenje
that's
is the result of
pig on the steak. Yeah,
of the pig on a stake over a fire.
correct. So pechenye is basically lechon.
Yeah, it is. I'm like looking at it right now.
Oh, there you go then.
Yeah.
There you go. Dead animals. Yes.
That
Yeah.
gives me a real taste. We're gonna eat after.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, you guys have already ate? Not yet.
No, not really.
No?
Yes and no. So
Oh.
yes, and we want to eat more. Yes.
Correct.
So, you guys went to Metro. You rode the taxi going back here or you just walked?
Just walked, my man.
Yeah.
Walked.
Yeah. One thing about Cebu is
Accessible.
accessible walking city, but
Yes.
not a lot of people walk because
Oh,
they're
okay.
afraid of getting dark skinned.
Really?
Yeah, they're afraid of the sun. They're afraid
Yeah,
of.
that's like one tradition I don't understand at all. I guess.
I
like,
think it's a socio-economic
Yeah.
thing where, like, hey, if you are white, you are more likely to be. They have a perception where you're more. You have more money because like you're always inside a building.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to
basically,
do.
and that's the luxury of rich people. Yeah.
So maybe it stems from that. Even going back to like the 1500s or
Yeah.
the ancient times, the royalty, they have fair skin because they don't go out and harvest or like
Rice,
do hard labor. So and then that mentality is being it's like it's stuck until now where like a lot of Filipinos are obsessed with getting their skin white.
And that's like for me specifically when I see like I don't care if men are white or like whatever. I look at like I see some women who have darker skin and whiter skin, right? And like a bunch of famous actresses here and whatnot have whiter skin, like
Yeah.
naturally, and the TV hosts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And when I see those famous, beautiful girls, like
yeah,
I don't care about them at all. They look like, whatever to me.
yeah,
But your regular Filipinas who have darker skin look really, really pretty to me.
yeah, yeah.
So I think I don't know. It's reversed, and in Serbia, like girls go to like solariums,
Yeah, tanning
To get
studios.
tan, yeah,
tanned, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So they're like to get as dark as they can because that's
Yeah. Yeah,
Which-
they want what they can't have, or like they want
Yeah.
what they don't have.
yeah,
that's
that's
probably-
Yeah.
that's you should always chase what you don't have infinitely forever. That's
Yeah, that's probably
that's the
probably
way
what's
to
happening.
happiness. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But in Europe, I guess like people do. I don't know. It's like just having a bit of tan is like considered nice. I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you have time. Because getting a suntan is probably a luxury of someone who has more time
To go to the islands.
to lay in the sun, on
To
a
have
beach.
a proper
right?
vacation,
Yeah,
actually.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
like the same thing, like right?
But it's inversed. Yeah, that's
reversed,
reverse.
inverse status symbols.
Well, now we're like almost an hour to this podcast,
And we
and just want to
still-
say thank you guys for doing this. You know, it's
Oh,
it's the
pleasure.
first time you guys doing the podcast,
yeah.
first
Yeah.
time for me.
so I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be the last. There's gonna be a next time for sure. Hopefully, when you guys get
so.
back here, or maybe I'll go visit Serbia soon.
Would be
Mm.
nice to see you over there, man.
Yeah, so I will eat the, what do you call that, lechon there?
Pečenje.
Pechenya.
So of course, but it's not just pigs. It's like every
Single animal,
that's small enough to
Yeah.
be stuck on a
Steak.
steak,
Yeah,
yeah.
just barbecue.
yeah.
Yeah,
So no
so-
mercy for anything.
No mercy for
for
anything.
anything with four
yeah.
legs, yeah, except dogs and cats.
But yeah, anyway, I just want to say thank you guys, and see you all in the next episode, everyone. Thank you all for listening. Bye. Alright.
Nice.
How was it?
That was great, man.
It was a good past